Shipmates, welcome back to the port. We're looking at Albert Gleaves, the concealment torpedo commander for the U.S. destroyer line. As you can see, I've selected all out air. The impetus for this video is twofold. Number one, I got crushed in a 6-7 match by the red team's carrier. He specifically sought out, targeted, and sank the Benson with repeated torpedo and HE bomb strikes. And second, conventional wisdom says that Bull Halsey's the man when it comes to gunboat destroyers in the U.S. destroyer line. If you look closely at the reload and 180-degree turn time numbers, Bull Halsey's numbers are only a little bit better. You get more torpedo range with Gleaves, they're less detectable, and most importantly, your concealment is better by at least 0.3 of a kilometer. Now, in this playthrough, the Benson, I ran out of camo. If it had camo, it would probably be 5 kilometers or 4.9 kilometers. And that's going to be better than Halsey by a good bit. And that makes a difference because at Tier 6, you're going up against the Akatsuki, extremely concealable destroyer, and other destroyers like the Bliskovica that have an even 5 kilometers of surface detectability. Now, here in this match, we get a little bit lucky. It's a 5-6 match. There's a Mahan, there's a Minsk, which is a gunboat, and there's a Maz, which is an all-around destroyer. So we aren't going to have any of the real creepy, sneaky destroyers in this match. But really, the goal at this point, because there's no carriers, is to see if Albert Gleaves is a viable commander for the Benson. You're losing twist and track. You're gaining torpedo skills. You're gaining concealment. Is that worth it? Because the drop off for the guns, in my opinion, is negligible. Now, make no mistake, the Benson is a gunboat, first and foremost. So, in this match, my goals were to A, kill other destroyers, B, capture cap circles and hold them, and C, win the match. So, we started over on the right side of the map. We are heading towards Charlie. Obviously, since I don't have twist and track, I don't know where the destroyers are. But that's a risk I'm willing to take with my newfound concealment. So I point out the Gneisenau out of my teammates because I try to be helpful. Get them focus fire on dangerous ships. The Gneisenau is a dangerous ship. Now, when I go into the cap circle, because I don't have twist and track, the only thing that would give me an indication that the enemy destroyer is in here, other than being shot at or torping, is that it's a contested cap. And that doesn't happen. And it doesn't happen. And it still doesn't happen. So I think, well, I'm going to go hide over here in this little inlet, behind this little island. I'm going to get myself out of the way if he does come into the cap late or torps, and I'm going to have my way out. But I also know, because I saw the spy plane over there, that there's probably a cruiser over there. And so I'm not going to go out this avenue to the starboard side. I'm just going to launch some speculative torps. I'm going to turn back. I'm going to locate the island with the prow of my ship. Kathunk. And I'm going to back up and go out into the cap circle. And at this point, we've captured the base. We're pretty proud of ourselves. Got that capture ribbon. And now I'm indicating to my teammates, hey, there's some ships over there. The Gneisenau, the unknown cruiser. There's another battleship kind of behind an island over here. Oh, hey, there's a Nelson over there. So a Gneisenau, a Nelson, and an unknown cruiser. Fantastic. Well, my teammates have joined me in the cap circle. And we're going to mill around here and pretend we know what we're doing. And I circled really fast with my viewfinder so you couldn't see everybody who was at the party, but I think it's at least one other destroyer and a battleship, and they're exchanging fire with the ships over there. The Nelson, the Gneisenau, and the yet unknown cruiser. So here's one of the destroyers. It is an Akatsuki, the kind of ship that was on the enemy team I would be really worried about. And here's another destroyer. So three destroyers on our team, and they're all in the sea cap. And this destroyer waits for my torpedoes to go by. What a gentleman! And sets a beautiful smoke screen. And so I decide, hey, let's throw some torpedoes at that Nelson and the other ships over there. The cruiser, by the way, is in New Orleans. I think it came up briefly. But now I'm being spotted. I'm being spotted by that battleship to the northeast of my position. And here's the New Orleans. So I set my own smoke screen. So we got a double smoke screen here. And as you know, the U.S. destroyers have a particularly long lasting smoke screen, notwithstanding smoke on the water. So we launched some torpedoes, and now we're going to put the guns of the Benson to use, reloading every 3.5 seconds with Albert Gleaves. And we get a torpedo hit, two torpedo hits. And the New Orleans is flooding, at least for now. And I just keep pumping those shots in there, and life is good. And you can see our guns are engaging his airplane. I've already shot down a couple of airplanes. And the Nelson comes up here and he wants to get in on the action. And so I set him on fire. Or maybe I set the New Orleans on fire. Anyway, the Nelson's going to try to come into this gap too. And really, I have no idea why. I mean, if I'm in the Nelson, I'm just going to go around. I mean, why would you want to go through a very narrow area? And at one point, he had to have seen there were three destroyers hanging out in this cap circle. So we set him on fire. The Nelson loves being set on fire. Basically, the Nelson is a pyromaniac extreme. It shoots fire, it likes being set on fire, and then it comes back from the dead. But I do get a torpedo strike on him. The Nelson's actually pretty hurt, and you can see my destroyer buddies are here lobbing torps at him. And the Nelson can't get away from, I believe that was the Fubuki. Anyway, it was one of the other destroyers torped out on him. Good job, teammate. And I think the New Orleans might be trying to go into the gap. So I checked to see who the other battleship is. I believe he has been killed. So I shoot some torps there. There's the friendly Akatsuki. And there's the Gneisenau, who did the smart thing and went all the way around. Now, I already have 82,424 damage. And I am spotted, and I'm not sure who is spotting me. So I turn away from the Gneisenau, and I guess maybe the Gneisenau is spotting me, although we've increased the distance at this point. And I'm just checking his position and his rate of travel. Well, clearly he can't sail through the island, so I'm going to launch some torps, and I'm going to watch him turn away. And I'm going to keep firing HE at him, and hopefully I'm going to hit him this time. And I'm going to go back into the smoke screen, at least while it's up. And I guess that pesky airplane is spotting us, as well as the Gneisenau. And so I'm not shooting now because I'm spotted, and I don't want the Gneisenau to wreck my ship. And I'm checking his travel again, and he dodged all my torpedoes, which is a shame because I'm still reloading. A couple seconds left, and I launch at him again. And I want to say, I think the Akatsuki is still hanging around over there. Uh, no, he's not. He got sunk. Never mind. I think it's in Atlanta. There's an Atlanta over there shooting at the Gneisenau, kind of keeping his attention off me. Plus, I'm out of he's out of my or I'm out of his detection range. He can't see me. That's what I'm trying to say. He's on fire, so I start shooting at him. I put up my smoke screen. I straighten out my ship to get all the guns on him, and I just start pumping shells into the Gneisenau because he's a German ship. They love to catch on fire, and I think this is a really great thing. And I can't launch torpedoes because the rear launcher is the one I shot the last group of torpedoes with. So I back up a little bit, I shoot some torpedoes, and I come to a stop. So I'm still in the smoke screen. And I keep pumping out those shells. And as you can see right now, we are down 5 ships to 3. It is myself in Atlanta and another ship that I don't remember. And thankfully, because I can't see anything, even with my super magnification glasses, um, I have no way to know what the other ship is, even if it did something and a notification went up on the screen. So the Gneisenau is still on fire, and the Atlanta and I are still shooting him. Basically, the Benson at this point is just a smaller Atlanta. I'm just lobbing shells as fast as I can towards the sky, hoping to get the kill one way or the other. Unfortunately for me, the Atlanta will not be denied. So, looking at the map, as I've said many times, domination game, got to capture 2 of the 3 caps and hold them. So, even though we are still losing a little bit, um, we've got C and we did have B. It looks like somebody's trying to cap B right now. So, I head that way. The goal is, let's say in this scenario, the enemy had A and you had C. The goal is to bring the fight to B. And when you capture B, if there are any enemy ships remaining, you want to have the fight with them in their cap in A. You want to defend the middle cap to keep them from getting any points, getting that cap counted stopped is bad, obviously. And the odds haven't necessarily got any better. The Atlanta's killed some other people. It's 2-3. We are still down by 25 or so points. I'm expecting the destroyers to be near this cap, but they weren't in there. So I decided to move here to prevent them from stopping us from getting the points. Because right now we're getting the points at twice the rate that they are. And I see the Atlantas over there. I think at some point maybe before I came into the cap circle, I looked and saw how much health he had. And their ship left as a California, and I was like, the California will utterly wreck that Atlanta. So, Mr. Atlanta, get back. Don't be shooting all over the place because right now, until we see the enemy, we just want to maintain that lead, maintain these 2 caps. And the Moss pops up, so I shoot some torpedoes. I point them out to the Atlanta. And then the Mayhem pops up and it's 2-on-1 and they damage my rudder. I don't have a lot of hit points left, but I'm like, hey, at least I'm going to kill this Mayhem. And I do. And then I was hoping that the Moss would drive into my torpedoes, but he has a pretty good rudder shift, and try as I might, he kills me. And maybe me running into the island may have had something to do with that. So he's in our cap circle. I'm going to switch to the Atlanta, who has somehow managed to wedge himself in between two islands. I don't know if this was on purpose or not, and my batteries on my controller are dying, but the Atlanta managed to kill the Moss, and even though he can't move, he managed to dodge the Moss's torpedoes. So at this point, it is a 1v1, and you have to hope that we can maintain this lead. And as you can see, we went from being 20 points down to over 100 points up very quickly just by holding 2 out of the 3 cap circles. So all this Atlanta has to do is hold on and hope that the California does not realize where he is. Now, I had to have known at some point on the map, he had to have been spotted by the Moss when the Moss shot torpedoes at him when he shot at the Moss. I mean, the Moss knew where he was. Ergo, the California commander should know where the Atlanta is or was. And the Atlanta captain, I don't know if he was trying earlier to get out of there and gave up. And so, therefore, he already knows he can't get out of there, but he doesn't appear to be trying to leave there. And maybe at this point, because the time is ticking off, maybe he doesn't need to leave. Maybe he should just stay there and hang out. He's got a gigantic rock he's hiding behind. He also has a smaller rock that's keeping him in place. I mean, he's a sitting duck. But I'm sitting here, I'm white knuckling it. I'm sure he's white knuckling it. California, very dangerous, tier 5 battleship, could utterly wreck him. Um, but all you see is that last impotent shot from the California. Never got to where he was. So this game ends. We have 106,512 damage. We made 1 kill, and we had 1 capture, and we got over 300,000 silver. Top of the board in a win. What more could you ask for? You don't need to have a huge game of the Benson, but more importantly, is Gleaves a viable commander? I will leave that up to you. Thanks for watching.